Marina Bay hosts race number 3. Daf Sanchez on pole from Sebastian Ocampo and Marcus Nasson. Following them is Oscar Falstad, Tommy, and teammate Arna Babnis Jr. Revo only starts 7th today from Bastien Tan and Anot Huey. Then it's teammate Santina Milan, Tonali Gabo, Zach Wallace, and then the Cura Renault of Remy Labelle, the factory Renault duo of Daniel Boktasarov and Pablo Sierra, the Red Devil, Zay Lane, Cable, his teammate Pierre Gasly, Akari Lopez, Mohamed Nawawi, and Leo. Well then, Marina Bay, Singapore, the home of many crashes with the 2 Andretti boys on pole and second. All 5 lights go on. And we go green for the Marina Bay Prix, and it's a very, very good start from Sebastian Ocampo, who's already drawing level with his teammate as they come through the first chicane. As spinning further back is Sebastian Ocampo. He's hit the wall, and he stopped Revo in his tracks. Can he let him go through? And oh, that is, I think that's one of the bronze. Yes, that is Pierre Gasly out of the Prix, and it's a virtual safety car in the opening lap. There's many drivers facing the wrong direction. Sebastian Ocampo, reigning drivers champion, out of the race. Oh, he's been flipped on his side as well. And with Akari and Nawawi both out of the race, 4 cars out at the opening chicane. Daf Sanchez leads, Marcus Nelson second, Falstad is third. But to look to the man currently second in the world driver standings, Revo's dropped from 7th on the grid to 9th. It's arguably a loss of 3 positions, because even if he did lose a position, he would still be 7th. Virtual safety car has ended, and we are back racing. And we're looking to Remy Labelle in the number 27, closing in on Pablo Sierra, the Spaniard in front of the Frenchman. We've seen this many times before. Sierra partners a Frenchman this season in Daniel Boktasarov. So now come through this little right-hand turn. It's one of the most boring turns on the calendar. There are actually some of these at Marina Bay, but I do very much like the run through these final 2 turns, because it's a double apex left-hander. It's not as simple as many drivers would think. On the second lap then, and on board with Anot Huey, Revo has been his way up into 8th position. There might be a flame underneath the number 7 man. He could try and go for a race win today. It would be a lot harder than other times in his career, I'll give him that much. Tommy further ahead has found his way up into 3rd as Revo sends it on Anot Huey to take 7th position. He's back up to where he started. But if he wants to actually gain any ground, he's going to need to close that second gap between him and Bastien Tan. And look at that, he's pulling away from Anot Huey. At least he's trying to, as he now comes through the chicane. Tyres really can begin to start being a bit of a problem around lap 3 if not just testing, but practice sessions or anything to go by. But looking to you, Cable, Season 10 champion, driving for Braun Honda GP, and I'm just going to say this right now, Braun have come into the season woefully unprepared. They are 2 seconds off of Zach Wallace, the Simmons Motorsport Nissan man, in the number 51, who is, well, he's lagging behind as well. Revo, oh, look at that from Babinus Jr. Iron Babinus Jr. It looks as if it was a brilliant move for 5th position rather, but he is out of this race. It's a virtual safety car, and it's going to be something that the Venturi driver is going to remember for the rest of his career. Surely that is awful. But on board with the Red Devil, I'm just going to point this out right now, Leo and Zay Lane are out-driving their machinery. They are up in 12th and 13th. They wouldn't be scoring points, yes, but out-driving their machinery, still a fact, because they haven't really gone too much going their way. But still, Daniel Boktasarov down the inside on the Philippine number 12, and he is up into 13th position is Boktasarov. Down to 14th goes Zay Lane. Further up the order, Marcus Nasson still trying to close in on Daf Sanchez. as we look to Bogdasarov coming through the chicane. Soft tyres still holding up for now as the Red Devils down the inside on Z Lane, with softs that are possibly beginning to go off the performance cliff. No real graining. Oh, there is graining on the front tyres now, just noticed. I was going to say there wasn't any real, but you can see Dap Sanchez coming through the first chicane. His softs don't look anywhere as good as they did on lap 1. But on board with Revo, currently in 6th with the fastest lap of the Prix. And I think for Revo, holding position currently would be a very good decision to do. Just don't go after Vastian, maintain your tyres, just try and take care of them as best as you can, just so that you can stay in the race and let drivers in front of you just wreck out. Because look, Falstad is holding up his teammate Vastian Tan. That's now coming through the chicane. Race leader Daf Sanchez in the wall. Sanchez hits the barriers and loses his front wing as Tommy out of the race at the same part of the track. Virtual safety car called fast enough for us not to see another big one like we saw in the opening lap. But it's another virtual safety car here in Marina Bay. And that's elevated Revo up to P5, Falstad to the podium. And yeah, for Revo right now, I think he can just hold position at this point. As we go on board with U Cable coming through the chicane, just about keeping his car pointing in a straight line, and just pointing this out, neither DS Venturi driver will score points. Sanchez and Nelson both peel into pit row, but the two McLaren boys staying out. There could be some overconfidence going on there, but Falstad leading from Vastian Tan and Revo. That's going to be interesting to see. Of course, they should pit at the end of this lap. Even Falstad should probably be good for another few laps. Those hard tyres seem quite good currently. And still looking with Revo in the number 7 for DS Automobiles, the factory DS Automobile team in DS Chita. And yeah, he's not really trying to close in on Vastian Tan. He's keeping his distance, coming through the chicane there, as into the wall goes Vastian Tan. Yellows and Revo facing the wrong direction. He's in the wall. Santino Milan coming through, getting past just about cleanly. Gabo forced into the wall by his countryman, and dropping behind his teammate is Revo. Luckily, no retirement from the race in that incident, but that was close, very close for Max Exodus as Zach Wallace out of the Prix. Oh, it's a virtual safety car, 10 laps to go. 10 laps to go, and we've effectively had a virtual safety car on every lap. We haven't really had a single caution-free lap. This race is going to be hell, isn't it? And also, U Cable, he's come out of the pits in last though. That is just sad, if you ask me. But in comes most of the field who didn't decide to pit. Even Falstad coming in with Milan. So Sanchez leading from Nelson and Falstad coming out of the pits in 3rd. So that strategic decision has worked. Look at this fight for 4th coming out of the pits there, side by side between Kiwi and Vastian Tan. This one's going to go all the way to this little right-hand turn. They might have contact, just about miss out as the Red Devil comes into the pits, as Vastian Tan as well takes 4th, but Kiwi has attack mode. The Hong Kong man in the number 25 started his career in the number 29, had to change his number to the 25 due to the 29 being taken up by Tenali Gabo while he was out. And still, he's still got a lot of performance and potential within him. It's just barely really shown itself. He has won a few races. He might be the season 6 debutant might be one of the worst debutants we may have seen in that time period, as we see Tenali Gabo getting past Remy Labelle, who is one of the best rookies we've seen in this championship. He is one of the best and also one of the most reasonable. He's not like Santino Milan, who in his debut season won and then didn't do anything else. But look at this from Revo. Sending it down the inside on Daniel Bogdasarov. That was easy. He's up into 9th position. And he's still got to fight back to make us further up the road, side by side between Sanchez and Falstad. And the McLaren man has to concede the lead of the Prix to Dav Sanchez, who sets in who fastest first sector, 500ths of a second quicker. But now, Falstad having to defend from Marcus Nelson, whose teammate has found his way up into 8th and now has Tenali Gabo to get past. Gabo in the number 29. His countryman, of course. And yeah, there's not really too much else to say apart from what I've already said, and that is this is going to be fun to watch as they now head into the chicane on board with Revo. Pretty much following Gabo's line. He's not close enough to try and make a lunge. He's going to get attack mode heading into this next semi-hairpin, but not really, as Zaylane and the Red Devil fighting over 13th position made. Lane down to 14th position once again in this race. As Falstad going alongside wheel to wheel with Dav Sanchez and takes the position. Falstad reclaims the race lead here under the lights in Marina Bay. If these guys can keep it clean, we might see a show-stopping finish, closer than the single closest finish in championship history last season in Oslo. As here is Revo. He's going to get attack mode on Tenali Gabo, heading up, going into the next turn after this. There he goes, he's got attack mode. He's going to try and close in on the Sims Motorsport Nissan man, driving the dubbed Miku Mobile. It's not quite close enough, but look at that. He's found a little area for him to try and operate in. He wanted to go around the outside and just didn't work out for the number 7. So he's going to get another chance heading into the chicane. Coming through the right-hander, he's not close enough. Does he want to try and do something through the chicane? No. And he's not really trying any different moves. He should get attack mode heading down the straight. He does get attack mode heading down the straight. And there's not really much else more that they would have wanted him to do down at DS Tachida. He's keeping himself close to his countrymen, but he's not really finding anywhere safe enough for him to make the move as his teammate comes into the pits for a second stop. Gabo still defending from Revo. This is a brilliant defense from the Sims Motorsport man, but I'd rather think of this as Revo just choosing not to make any moves. There's an Kiwi also coming into the pits at the end of this lap. So Falstad leads, Sanchez second, Vasky and Tanis third. It's into the wall goes Revo! Oh dear! He's lost his front wing as well. His teammate goes by and is hit by Remy Lebao, and virtual safety car, Revo out of the Prix. Oh. And to be completely fair to the number 7, there was not much else I could really see happening. It's been a really torrid weekend for him. U-Cable comes into the pits, and that's pretty much all she wrote. Virtual safety car ending then. Falstad will lead us away. And we go back racing. And we now look to Remy Lebao, defending from the 2 Renault drivers behind him of Daniel Bogdasarov and Pablo Sierra, as Kiwi gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. That is with Leo, trying to get past the almost certainly slower Aurelio Pinnacle in front of him. As coming through the chicane, Zaylane dropping to 13th, and Kiwi getting himself up into 10th. Sanchez into the pits, getting off of those mediums, but the 2 McLaren men still out there. Falstad, championship leader, with his 2 other main title rivals, who have also already won a championship before in their career. They've won 2, Revo and Ocampo. They're both out of this race. The McLaren man, and in fact the entire McLaren operation, are looking at a win that would see them extend their leads in the championship to something that, at this point, doesn't really seem real. It would be a win. And more than that would be something that would take him over a win ahead. But look at that! Wall ride from Falstad! Still yellows down there as his teammate now comes up to the scene of the incident. Just about doesn't hit the wall. Sanchez next up. He'll be coming there soon. And look at that, a missing front wing for Falstad. He would have pitted at the end of this lap anyway. The Red Devil and Zaylane both coming into the pits. As Tenali Gabo just about keeping it out of the wall. The sole or Italian still in this race is here comes the posse right behind Remy LeBow as Remy's out. Oh, virtual safety car on lap 10 of 15. Falstad, he has come into the pits at the end of this lap. He would get a cheapened pit stop. His teammate will take the race lead in Vasti and Tan. I think Daf Sanchez might want to come in. He stays out, rather, as Marcus Nelson staying out. Sanchez's softs much better than Nelson's mediums, but look at that. Falstad's come out of the pits and he is still ahead. Just about. Not anymore. He's behind. And Oscar Falstad now, Falstad's behind Daf Sanchez now, rather. But he's got the freshest tyres of anyone in the top four, as his teammates got some of the worst, in fact. So, and for Diaz to Cheetah right now, they really wish for Sanchez, Falstad, and Bastian to all encounter problems before the end of the race. Is coming through the chicane, comes Bastian Tan, and out of the race goes Bastian Tan. Oh, virtual safety car again as another driver bites the dust and is out of this race. So Daf Sanchez, the man who started this race from pole, don't forget, leads Falstad and Marcus Nelson. Just get so used to seeing one driver in the top positions that when they're out of the race. Yeah. But we're back racing then. Tenali Gabo coming through the chicane with Sierra and Leo behind. And Leo, just pointing this out, this race of attrition has really helped him get points today. He's on course. He's on track to get points. And same could be said for you, Cable. And Braun Honda, who've had unconditionally throughout this entire season so far, the single slowest car. Points would be something no one would have thought of, but something that, of course, only a champion could bring to a team like this. Falstad is gaining. Look at that, he goes to the outside, will become the inside into the heavy braking zone, and it is the race lead, returning to the Norwegian, but Sanchez of the Philippines, he's the most experienced driver of the two of them. He knows how to overtake and does it with style and reclaims the race lead from Oscar Falstad, who is now looking for a way to re-overtake. As look at that, down the inside, into the wall goes Falstad, and he's lost his front wing. He's going to have to pit again. That gap, he would preferably have that gap increase. He's leading now, but this could be big for the championship. He's going to score points on his rivals, of course, but will these points be big points? What does this mean for the rest of the championship? I'm not too sure. It's only round 3. Don't really know why I'm talking about the championship, but the championship leader, Oscar Falstad, has to pit with 2 laps left to run. Sanchez leads, Nelson second, but Nelson's medium's beginning to go off the tire performance cliff. Same as Daf Sanchez's softs. We might see the big one near the end of the race. Falstad coming out of the pits, and he's going to be outside of the top 3, and not QE coming into the pits for his third and final stop. No real damage for him, as look at this from Leo, sending it down the inside on Pablo Sierra, just about keeping it out of the wall. He's still there, is Sierra, but covered off by the number 30, who joined the championship 8 seasons ago in season 12. As we now look to Daf Sanchez, race leader in the number 72, coming through the chicane, just about keeping it out of the wall. And into the wall goes Marcus Nelson. New Cable coming into the pits at the end of this lap. going on to soft tyres at the back of the pack. He's in 12th position. 10 drivers have crashed out of this race. But so far, none of them have been the man who started this race on pole position. This seemingly being Sanchez's best race win. Because in a race of attrition, history will be written by the victor. As in comes Marcus Nelson to get off of that front wing. But Sanchez, I think he might have wanted to pit at the same time, but of course, we're on to the penultimate lap. Falstad getting past Santino Milan and literally leaving him in the dust. Look at that. As he's now up into second position. And Marcus Nelson is going to re-emerge in this race. I think he'll be 5th. And he will be 5th. And with 2 laps to go, he's praying that the big one happens and he survives it. But there's 9 seconds between Sanchez and Falstad, so Falstad would have to cause the big one, and his tyres completely fine. So coming into the chicane then, the man who started this race on pole is out! Dav Sanchez out of the Prix. Andretti Honda for the second time, DS Andretti rather, for the second time this season will score 0 points. Falstad takes the lead, Milan second, Tonali Gabo third, and Marcus Nelson currently in 4th. Zaylane in the number 12, coming out of the pits in 12th position, will become 11th. UK Ball is looking at points now. Yes. Oh, yellow still, and that's for Pablo Sierra, who's lost his front wing as well as that. So lucky he's not out of this race. As more incidents, as that is Daniel Bogdasarov hitting the wall there as well, and I'm not too sure if Leo's completely fine. But we're on to the final lap at the Marina. Falstad leading the field from only 10 other drivers rather. 11 drivers still in this race. One of them will not score points. Currently it looks to be the Mercedes man of Zaylane as Braun Honda looks to score their first points of the season. A single 10th place finish. But for Oscar Falstad, it's not going to be perfect because that fastest lap currently with Revo and his teammate in Marcus Nelson is trying to get himself onto the podium. And for DS Automobiles, they need Nelson on the podium. Coming into the chicane then is Santino Milan, who is out of the race. Everyone who finishes, it's the big one as Gabo spins Nelson to P2. And as the Mika Mobile now reversing, the virtual safety car is out there. Gabo has got himself out of there. He should be P3. Virtual safety car, but now coming through the penultimate complex of turns as Pablo Sierra also out of this race. Could have been the big one. Rounding the final turn now for the second time in 3 races, Oscar Falstad will come home at reduced speeds to take home the Marina Bay Prix from Marcus Nelson to Nelly Gabo. And not QE, but that 5-second time penalty could lower him to 5th or even 6th position. Then it's the Red Devil, UK Ball, and Zaylane. And UK Ball and Zaylane definitely benefiting from a wreckfest such as this one. These may be the only points that their teams will score all season long. An 8th and 9th place finish. As, look at this from Zaylane. He's got attack mode. Closing in on UK Ball. This could go right to the end of the race. Maybe. As he's using attack charge as well. The rookie driver drove a season and in the FD series, the Red Devil setting the fastest 3rd sector when he's not going to be able to take 8th away from the season 10 champion. And this is the podium then. Falstad takes home a race win under the lights from Marcus Nelson and Tonali Gabo, who easily could have finished this race in 2nd, but a podium would still be pretty good for Sims Motorsport Nissan. Then it's Anot QE, Daniel Bogdasarov, Leo, the Red Devil, Ukable, and Zaylane, with the rest of the drivers not scoring. Those are Santino Milan, Pablo Sierra, Daf Sanchez, Bastian Tan, Remy Labau, Revo, Zach Wallace, Tommy, Inet Babinas Jr., Sebastian Ocampo, Pierre Gasly, Mohamed Awawi, and Akari Lopez. In the driver's standings, Volstad leads the way from Revo and Marcus Nelson, then it's Sebastian Ocampo, Daniel Bogdasarov, Babinas Jr., Tenali Gabo, Remy Labau, then Leo Anot QE, Santino Milan, Daf Sanchez, the Red Devil, Tommy, Ukable, Zaylane, and Vasti and Tan, with Gasly, Sierra, Wallace, Akari Lopez, and Mohamed Nawawi still yet to score any points. In the constructors' standings, heading into race 4, DS Techeetah still lead the way from DS McLaren TGR and DS Andretti. Then it's Renault Edams, Nissan Nismo, DS Venturi Formula E Team, Kiro Renault, Sims Motorsport, Nissan Aurelio Pinnacle, Braun Honda GP, and Mercedes EQ. We'll see you guys next time then when the Formula E Monopoly Championship returns.